Hey guys, welcome to your daily dose of vibes. You know what's a vibe? Video games. Video games mean so much to me. They're my favorite form of entertainment, and it brought me through some of the best moments of my life. I mean, have you ever seen Final Fantasy X, my favorite game of all time, and not to mention Shrek the Third on PS2? Hell yeah. I've been gaming my whole life, and I don't think I'll ever stop. I mean, AAA is kind of shit these days, but other than that, I don't see myself stopping anytime soon. I'm a huge Final Fantasy game. I love my JRPGs. I love Skyrim and open world games. I even love the new indie stuff like Undertale and Five Nights at Freddy's. I'm just a huge video game guy. I'm a huge video game guy to the point where I started collecting them a little over a year ago, and I have no plans of stopping. I think it's part of my personality at this point, if anything. I just wanted to show somebody why video games mean so much to me, and so I decided to make a video, because why not? I always wanted to do this for the longest time, and I feel like this is a good reason to do it, so I hope you enjoy. I mean, one of my very first memories is waking up and going to the living room and playing Mario Kart on the N64, and ever since then I've been a gamer. Well, not exactly a gamer, but someone who plays video games, which is kind of the same thing, but let's be honest, it's really not. It wasn't till a couple years later, when I was in about third grade or so, that we got a PS2. And we got a couple of games on it, but none of them compared to my favorite game of all time, Final Fantasy X. Final Fantasy X means so much to me on a personal level, mostly because of what it represents. It was such a game that you could just escape in and just immerse yourself with its characters and its world. It was so groundbreaking to me. Going from N64 games to a game that was basically a movie that you could play, it was nuts. And it's a game that I could talk about for hours and hours. Trust me, I've done that with people where I've just ranted about Final Fantasy X and why they should make X3. And then eventually things happened in my personal life where I lost my PS2 and I lost all the games I had growing up and basically had to start from scratch. I did have a trusty little handheld though, and it did have a Final Fantasy game on it, Crisis Core, which is actually getting a remaster later this year, and I can't wait to play it. I hope more people play that game because that game, I love Zack. I mean, Zack is such a cool character with such a sad story. Maybe that's why I'm depressed. I'm blaming Final Fantasy for my depression. But all jokes aside, I did have a PSP, and I got really immersed in my PSP. And then, when I met my stepdad, he had a PS3, and I got really into my PS3. I actually still have my PS3 to this day. Yeah, it's beat to hell. It's missing this door or whatever. It's a slider. Um, there's like candle wax right there. I don't know if that's gonna pop up on camera, but this is the same PS3 I've had, and this is the oldest console I had in my collection in terms of me owning it. I've had this since like 2013, I want to say 2012, 2013. Sorry, and I have some very fond memories with me. I played Final Fantasy 13 on this thing. I played Final Fantasy X Remaster. I platinumed it on this console. I bought a lot of PS2 games off the PSN store on this thing. This means a lot to me. This was basically my best friend at one point, as much as I hate to admit that. Because I didn't really have that many friends growing up in middle and early high school. So I would just come home and play video games on this thing. Because it's the only game console I had. I played some Persona 5. I got Persona 5 for the PS3. Yeah, I'm one of those guys. I got the Kingdom Hearts collection. Hell, I learned when I'm a real gamer because I beat Dark Souls on this thing. God, the amount of controllers I broke playing you. Yeah, I played a lot of PS3 growing up. And then I turned 16 and got a job. And oh boy, the fact that I had money was a terrible idea. It was so bad. I blew it all. I blew it all. My first paycheck, I went to GameStop and bought Nino Kuni for PS3. And then a couple months later, I got a Nintendo Switch with the Smash Bros. Edition. Yeah, I blew my money on this thing. I mean, look at the artwork. It's super cool even to this day. And I'm a huge Smash Ultimate fan, so having this really means a lot to me. And it's one of my like few collector items that I have that I got after getting a job. It took me like 3 months to get it, but hey, I have it, right? I bought some games on the thing, but I mostly just played Smash Ultimate on it for like 3 years. So there's that. But then about a year later, I got a PS4. I'm not gonna show you. It's hooked up to that TV. Yeah, that one. And then the unthinkable happened. I became a fucking nerd. See, I am normal. Me, a nerd? Who would have thought? It all started when my best friend took me to a pawn shop and I saw they had a PS2 for $50. In my head, I was like, whoa, PS2 is that cheap? That's my childhood right there. So guess what? I took the thing and I bought it and I brought it home. And worst of all, it didn't even work. But it started this crazy obsession in my head that made me want to just own a PS2. So I looked up videos on YouTube and learned how to fix it myself, and I eventually did. And now I own the PS2 and have 300 games for it because any functioning member of society would have 300 games for the PS2. Including Shrek the Third. Right, but in all seriousness, yeah, I did buy a PS2 at a pawn shop for $50, and now I own 300 games for it, mixed off of going to retro stores and buying things off eBay because I wanted a PS2 with some games on it. I just happened to get a little carried away. Some of that might have to do with I was going through a breakup at the time and I was feeling really empty, so I ended up buying a bunch of PS2 games and escaping into that void of nostalgia. And that never ended. I still do that to this day. I mean, I own all the Guitar Hero games on PS2. And yeah, I'm very proud of that. Shut up. I mean, I literally own a wall of video games. And I call it my virginity wall because, I mean, do I need to explain myself there? And to think, it all started because my friend brought me to a pawn shop of all places. A goddamn pawn shop. Like, if it was a flea market, that would have been a cool story. But, like, a pawn shop in my hometown. So, yeah, now I'm a collector. Look at me. Do I look like someone that wouldn't be a collector? I mean, that's up to you, so. I ain't making judgments for you. I already judge myself on a daily basis when I look in the mirror. Too real. And while I was collecting, it made me realize video games mean so much to me. I mean, every time I pick up a game, I try to at least play it. And 9 out of 10 times, I thoroughly enjoy the experience. Sure, there's some bad games in there like Final Fantasy 13 or some weird PS2 game that I've never heard of, like MTV's Pimp That Ride or whatever. I mean, I picked up a lot of weird games. I've actually found a lot of new games that I really like through this, like Dark Cloud and Kaya Dark Lineage on PS2, for example. And made me realize that I really like this. I really like collecting video games and trying new video games and enjoying new experiences like that. It's kind of like going to see the world, but through the comfort of your own home. And I find that very enjoyable. I see how it's not for everyone, because, like, who would want to play 400 video games a year? But that's a personal passion of mine. And I'm going to stick with that. So, yeah, that's why I want everyone to kind of play video games. I mean, I let friends borrow games from my collection all the time because I like showing people new experiences and understanding why I love video games so much. It's kind of like a part of me, and I think it always will be. So, you watching this, don't be ashamed that you like video games, especially to a sickening degree like I do, because you're definitely not alone. There's someone that understands you, man. Don't be afraid to show off your nerdy passion. I mean, look at me. I've beaten all the Final Fantasy games. And I am proud of that just because I'm okay with being a gamer. A sick gamer. And I hope that someone out there watching this loves video games as much as I do. This video was a mess. Oh my god, I can't believe I did this. I don't know if any of you knew this, but I've wanted to make a YouTube video ever since I was like 12 years old, but I never had the courage to do it. So making this video at all is like a miracle to me. Like, it's still incapable in my brain that I made a video like this. Oh my god, the hair is coming out. Oh my god. Anyways, anyways, thank you for sitting through this video. It probably made no sense and you probably didn't learn anything, but I'm never gonna get better if I don't put a video. Yep, one video. I'm never gonna get better if I don't put any more videos out. So, thank you. Thank you so much for sitting through the end, or just clicking on the video at all. And maybe I'll make more videos in the future. Who knows? But thank you so much for sitting through this absolute train wreck that is my life. All right. Love you guys. Peace.